That's a big dog country. It is now time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by O'Quinn & Associates, Murphy Builder Supply, Van's Barbecue, and First Southern Bank.
Are you looking for an insurance company that you can call and talk to a live person? Are you looking for an insurance company where you can walk in and talk to an agent? Are you looking for an insurance company that offers multiple companies so they can try and get you the best rate? If you said yes to any of these, then you need to call or come by O'Quinn & Associates Insurance Financial Services. We offer multiple companies so we can find the best fit for you. Give us a call at 385-1000 or stop by our office at 212 South Fair Street right here in Jesup.
Since 1946, Murphy's Builder Supply has been serving the folks of Jesup, Wayne, and surrounding counties with quality products and knowledgeable service. Matter of fact, they feel they sell service first to make sure you get exactly what you need for your home improvement projects. And with each employee at Murphy's being there for 10 years or more, you know you're talking with someone with the experience to help you with building supplies, tools, paint, and all the things you need from a full-service hardware store. The best choice in home improvement is Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jesup.
When it comes to barbecue, Van's Barbecue in Jesup is the place to be. A small family-owned business located at 1876 on the Savannah Highway. Van's Barbecue has lunch and dinner specials. Stop by or call to make an order. The number to call, 427-3358. Van's Barbecue's new manager is Sarah Van. Van's Barbecue offers potato salad, coleslaw, baked beans, and don't forget their delicious mac and cheese. Also, check out their shrimp plates, the best in town. Yes, when it comes to barbecue, head to Van's Barbecue, locally owned and operated. Stop by and tell them the Big Dog sent you. Once again, the number to order, 427-3358.
Hi, I'm Raymond Brown.
And I'm Mandy Yeomans. At First Southern Bank, our customers are like family. As a locally owned community bank, we're dedicated to helping our clients succeed.
We have loans for every need, whether it's personal or business. We have lines of credit, auto loans, equipment loans, and of course, we offer mortgages. Stop by our bank or call us at 912-588-1010 and see how First Southern Bank can help you.
Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
The following is an exclusive presentation of Jesup Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
The world-famous Butch and Bob Show.
World-famous Butch and Bob Show right here on WIFO, 105.5 FM, Big Dog Country Radio. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
We've got one of your favorite people in here this morning.
I'm telling you.
Coach Jaybo Shaw.
Hey, well, it was a heck of a year, a lot of fun. I thought I'd get him in here to recap the season and talk about this all-reaching team where a lot of Wayne County players were recognized. So I guess we'll start there. You were recognized as Coach of the Year, which that was pretty much a no-brainer. What a great turnaround. You go from 0-9 to 10-3 and go to the Elite Eight. But a lot of your players were recognized. Matthew Fuller, who had a great season, both offensively and defensively, recognized as the Athlete of the Year. But I'll let you just run down the first teams, second team, and honorable mention players.
Yeah, I thought we were represented very well, all throughout the list with with Matt, getting Athlete of the Year, which was very deserving in what he all did, on a Friday night for us. And then just going down the list, the first team all-region guys, Malik Tillman at defensive end. Matt had it as a running back, Dre at corner, Jake Treble, offensive line, Ja Ross as the outside linebacker. Those 5 guys right there on the first team all region was pretty much unanimous when we met of what for their position. Jake at center, Ja as the outside linebacker, Dre at corner, Matt running back, and Malik at defensive end. What all they did for us throughout the year, very, very deserving for what they got. And then the second team all region guys, Tavion Wallace, outside linebacker, Terrion Graves, wide receiver, Desmond Hartzog, safety, Shabron Booker, safety, and Antoine Deweese as offensive line. Going on to our honorable mention, Hampton McElwain as the punter, Michael Shaver, offensive line, Antonio Reeves, offensive line, Kyle West, defensive line, Jacquees Vale, wide receiver, Justin Holly, linebacker, Eric Hodges, wide receiver, and Quincy Herrera, defensive line. So that rounded it out for us. So obviously you could tell, we were represented very well, and these guys earned it. And the encouraging thing is there's a lot of juniors and several sophomores on that honorable mention, and even the juniors through the first and second team guys that are coming back. So just all around, it was cool to walk out of that meeting, and a lot of Wayne County guys are on those lists.
You know, doing the coaches show, the one thing that stood out to me that you mentioned to me, you've been coaching quite a while, but you were talking about Matthew Fuller. You said he's probably the best running back you've coached and the best linebacker you coached. I mean, he played both ways, and the good news, he comes back as a junior. People ask the question all the time, is he eligible to go to the next level? Mm-hmm. Is he on track to do that?
Yeah, he, as far as, the work ethic, all the things that you look for in a player, especially when you start talking at big time level college football, he checks the boxes, and I expect him to have a great spring. His recruiting has taken off. Of guys that want to know about him, and he was up for Player of the Year in 4A with several media outlets. So just he had a special year, and he did what he wanted to do as far as he wants to play college football. He needed to have a kind of a breakout junior year, and he did. And but I expect him to have a great spring and kind of springboard into his senior year with in the recruiting world.
In recruiting, they start offering as early as a freshman. Dre Fulbright, just a sophomore, I saw where University of Georgia offered him a scholarship already. Yeah. So how cool is that?
Yeah, the two sophomores that have gotten Power 5 offers, Dre and Tavion, and I think it just, especially in this state, we all know what, Kirby and the brand of football that Georgia plays, especially on defense. And, for Dre to get that offer as a sophomore to play, corner, that's not a lot of people can say that as a sophomore and get an early offer from University of Georgia, especially on defense. And just really proud of him. And shoot, he'll have another, he's on track to have another special year. And we got to go back to work. And he's got great work ethic, and he wants to be great. He wants to be the best corner in the state, and that bodes well for us as far as leadership and sending us on into the off season. Same with Tavion Wallace. He's got several. He's got I think 5 or 6 now, and he's playing Tavion's playing in an all-star game today, the GACA down in Brunswick. I think it's at Glenn Stadium. I think that kicks off at 1 o'clock if I remember right. But it's a all-star game, and he's down there representing us. I think they started practice on the 27th, and the all-star game's today. So just really happy for all our guys, but some guys getting some recognition in all-star games. And Dre was invited to one, DeWeese was invited to one, Matt Fuller was invited to one, Malik, several guys, Antonio Reeves was invited to one, several guys getting some recognition this all season. It's like I told the guys, it's what 10-3 does for you. You have a successful year, people want to know, and people want to be a part of it, and they start calling and want you to be a part. So we've got to continue that, and this is the standard. This shouldn't be a one hit wonder, so to speak. This is what we've got to continue to do, and because that exposure helps our players in the long run.
Just joining us in the studios with us is head football coach Jaybo Shaw. Interviewed a couple of weeks ago. You said the focus right now is grades and recruiting. I know National Signing Day comes up. They've got 2 during the course of the year. It's always a special event when you go to Wayne County High School auditorium and see the parents and the players sign those college scholarships. How many kids do you think will sign for Wayne County football?
I think it's still early to I say early. The signing days in early February, but that's still in the recruiting world. That's a whole month and a week. Still for these coaches to get out on the road. I know for us, as when I was at Western Carolina, January was the biggest month for us. As an FCS school, because you're kind of you're kind of scrambling, so to speak, of trying to sign that class right there before the last month of the year. So Well, I expect us to have multiple guys on that stage. I really do, and you know, it's going to be exciting. I look forward to it, and we're doing everything we can as a coaching staff to push our guys, get their guys' names out there. We went to several recruiting fairs in December before we got out for break. Coaches were going out and getting in front of college coaches and just getting our guys' names out there to be seen and get that exposure that we have to have before signing day.
I know the season is past, but I just wondered over the holidays, you have the chance to sit back and just kind of reflect and enjoy anything that stood out during the course of the year. I mean, we had so many exciting games, the goal line stands, the last second field goals, things like that. But is there one or two moments that kind of stand out for you?
I think, you know, obviously the Appling game, and it feels like so long ago when you look at our season, even when we, you know, get into the playoffs and you start looking back, you know, and you start looking back at film to see what you've done or hadn't done or tendencies, and you see a game like Appling, and it's like, goodness, that feels like ages ago. But I think that one right there, obviously, you know, Appling's a good football team, and they coach very well, and you know, you have a win like that at home against I think, you know, at the time a top 3 opponent. Doesn't matter the classification. If you're ranked in the top 3, you know, you're a good football team. And I think, you know, winning a game like that, you know, just kind of solidifying to our guys what we're trying to do is working. Stay the course. You know, and having early success like that, I think obviously helps springboard you into a type of year that we had. But winning that rivalry game. So that one obviously stands out, and it's hard to beat the Burt goal, you know, the Burt game right there at home, just because of the change in the schedule, and it was on Halloween night, and the stakes, you know, that were on the table, and you know, finding a way to win that game, the emotional roller coaster that game took, you know, just that was obviously a good one. And then I think just an all-around performance from our players, coaching staff, the game plan, you know, the game at Perry, being able to go on the road and knock off I think they were number 3 or number 4 at the time. I can't remember what they were ranked, but going on the road and winning a playoff game like that, there were so many cool moments. Me and my wife, Briley, we find ourselves talking about it after the girls go to bed, like, what was your favorite moment, or what stood out? And, you know, I think that you could just go down the list, and, you know, our players created that, and our fans created that, and our community created that, and that was just something that, man, it's contagious. You know, you strive for it, and you can't get enough of it. And, you know, it was a lot of fun to be a part of. And, you know, credit goes to our kids and our community and our fans, and just so many people that went into you know, the season that we had. Our touchdown clubs, unbelievable. You know, they need a shout out, and I'm not going to go down the whole list, but because that's not why they do it, but they are unbelievable, and you know, they want the best for our kids and our community, and I'm so thankful to be a part of them and what they do to help us, and just a lot of great moments. And it was fun to be a part of and seeing pure excitement. We've talked about it, Bob, after a game. You know, we go up there and the kids are still in the field and their families are still in the field. You know, there were so many moments of, whether it was the New Hampstead game, the first round of playoffs, the Burt game, Appling game, you know, no matter what it was just, you know, that pure happy and that pure genuine happiness and pure excitement that's hard to replicate. After a win, especially a close win, that's why you coach. That's why I coach, to be a part of something like that and see guys just genuinely excited. And, you know, going undefeated at home in JC, you know, that was something that, you know, for me is always important to our staff. That will always be preached to our guys, you know. And that bus ride back from the stadium to the field house over at the school was always a lot of fun. You know, that's the memories that you remember as a coach and as a player, and then the dancing in the locker room when you get back over there, and the smiles and the hugs, just a lot of fun to be a part of.
You know, when you first got here, the program was down to 40-some players, and now you built it up over 100 players. You know, people love a winner, so I'm curious. You know, you had to walk the halls and ask people to play. You got people come to your door saying they want to be part of this.
Yeah, you know, definitely the excitement is there. You know, wanting to be a part of it. You know, it's like I said, it's contagious, and I expect us to have great numbers again in the spring. And you know, we've got to continue building. We got to continue to build at the middle school level. We got to continue to build even at the rec level. And there's so many things that, you know, I'm excited about, like bringing within our program, because there's several things that we didn't do this past year, just because of the urgency. You know, the getting the staff together and things getting in place for our varsity football team to be successful that we didn't necessarily get to. So there's a lot of things that we'll implement, you know, going through our off-season program. You know, doing all those little things, getting our rec leagues involved, getting our middle schools staff and all that stuff and more involved a little bit, and so we're all on the same page. And so I'm excited about implementing some of those things that we didn't necessarily get to because of the urgency of just trying to win a football game last year.
And this time of year, people are, you know, transitioning. You know, other schools are calling; they've got vacancies, things like that. How about the coaching staff? And you mentioned the staff. You're going to be able to keep your staff intact, and mention all the guys on the staff that really helped out this year. Yeah,
you know, obviously we've handled some phone calls this off season, and that's how it should be. You know, it's, you know, when you win games like this and you have a turnaround like this, and the quality of guys that we have on our staff, you're supposed to get phone calls in the off season. And then so we've definitely had some phone calls, and we've had great conversations within our staff and with some guys, and you know, I feel confident that that we'll keep our staff intact, and if not, then, you know, I can promise you this: we're going to go get the best coaching staff that we can get, and we will be ready to go, and, you know, we'll have a great staff regardless. And that's part of my job of putting the pieces of the puzzle together. So I'm very thankful for our staff, what we did this past year, and we had several guys that were honored in assistant coach of the years or coordinators of the year, and just really appreciative. And shoot, I knew when I hired them that's what I expected, and, you know, they delivered. And you know, Coach Crutchfield, you know, he was a part of a defense coordinator of the year of several guys that got that recognition in 4A. Coach Tillman, the special teams, Coach White as our strength and conditioning coordinator, you know, of being able to flip, you know, a lot of bodies, so to speak, and get our conditioning where it needed to be and the strength where it needed to be. Take it, you know, this first year, he was a part of a list that won, you know, as a coach of the year. Coach Andy Mahaffey, our assistant head coach and running backs coach, was on another list. So, you know, just like our players, we had several coaches that were on a lot of lists, and very, very thankful and appreciative. And, you know, it's like I tell, you know, people all the time, as far as replacing coaches or, you know, whatever, I don't stress myself out about it because, you know, when I hire them, I want them to have awesome goals, and I want them to be head coaches. I want them to be coordinators if they're moving up the ladder. You know, that's a compliment to our program. But like I said, regardless of the situation, I can promise you one thing: we're going to have awesome coaches, and we're going to have coaches that get after it and coach extremely hard. And I promise you, Wayne County football, no one's bigger than the program. This train will continue to roll, and you know, I'm excited about it. And it's like I told somebody, what winning does. The day after we, you know, unfortunately lost in the quarterfinals, we got back to school on that Monday. Or, you know, I had 17 applications in my email wanting to come coach at Wayne County. Now, you know, that didn't happen 11 months ago. So, you know, people's excited, and you know, winning cures a lot, and people want to be a part of a winning program. So I'm excited of the direction that we're going.
Yeah, winning's all about it. I read a great quote. Offense coordinator at Georgia, Todd Monken, they were asking him about what he said. He said he likes being part of a winning program. He said he'd rather win in Alaska than lose in San Diego. He said,
there ain't no doubt.
He said it's all about winning.
It's
When
all
you're part
about
of winning,
winning.
it's about fun. And it was a great season. Like I said, the off-season condition program's already underway. And kids are in the weight room getting bigger, faster, stronger. That's what it's all about. But and just a remarkable year, very memorable year to go from 0-9 to 10-3. The final state rankings came out, Coach. We wound up number 6. We still had 3 teams in our region in the top 10. BC, of course, won the state championship. Burke finished in the top 10 as well. So it says a lot about our region as well.
That's right. I personally think, I know because we talked about it when we did the all-region. I know every head coach in our region that was in the playoffs, the 4 spots, us, Coach Britt, Coach Hockman, and Coach Parker. All we heard in that first round was how good that other region was, and I know we play some dang good football in our region, some physical football, and some really good coaches in our region. And we heard about that I think it was Region 4 with Trinity and all those guys being the best. I'll take our region against anybody's in 4A. And I thought we showed that in the first round. I think just the brand of football that is played in our region, you're going to play and you better be ready to play. 2 of our games being in overtime with Burke and New Hampstead. So just our region as a whole, I think can play with anybody, and you have got great coaches, great players, and in communities that care about football, and it's fun to be a part of. I mean, that's why you coach. That's why you play. You want to go compete and see where you stand. And there's no question that I think our region schedule and even our non-region schedule, prepared us for that playoff run. And I think the one that jumps out to me is the Trinity Christian. They were a top 5 defense, top 5 offense, scoring a lot of points, and we locked the gates on them in the first round and didn't let them out till we were done with them. And that was a lot of fun. I think that game right there showed our strength of schedule of what we played, what we just went through for 10 games, and then it showed in game 11.
You mentioned Coach Parker again. People remember that night as well. Is he back coaching? He's back healthy? Things going well for him?
Yeah, I talked to him obviously in the all-region deal. He didn't get back on the sideline after that. I know he had spoke to his team, and but he was not on the sideline for the rest of the year. But when I talked to him at the all-region thing, and we were all there, and he seemed good and good spirits, and just really, really thankful that he, obviously came out of that thing and was able to be there at that region meeting and be able to talk to him and all that good stuff. So, he's doing well as far as I know.
That's a night I'll never forget as well. Like I said, I was really surprised, that they continued the game. A lot of people thought the game was going to be called, but have you talked to him about that? Was he glad his team continued to fight and play?
Yeah, we hadn't necessarily talked about it, but I knew, just from knowing him and, what he stands for, he was extremely proud of his team in the fight and the effort and the overtime game and all that stuff. That represented him to a T. And his team did exactly what Coach Parker would have wanted them to do. There's no doubt about it.
The Bengals coming up in January. Again, we'll get the details on that, pass that along. But you really don't lose a lot of seniors, right? I mean, it wasn't very a senior late. I mean, the seniors that played contributed, but you don't have and it's not like it's going to be most of the kids on that football team are coming back. So they got to be excited about that. To finish top 6 and have just really the core coming back.
Yeah, I will always. I told our senior class this. I think it was senior night that I told them, I will always remember this class because of what they did, the quick turnaround of just the whole thing, having to flip their mentality. Here's this bald guy coming in January, basically turning the thing upside down and saying, okay, start over. And this is the way we're going to do it. And then buying in and believing. And, that's not easy to do, especially when you're 16, 17, 18 years old with that massive change. But I'll always remember those guys and what they did for us as a community, as a staff. I'm looking forward to the banquet because that's a night we get to recognize those guys and recognize our whole team, but really recognize those seniors. And, my banquets are always pretty special, and we try to do a nice job of recognizing our team because really that's the last time that we're together as a team. That we just went through 13 games. That's the last time we will be together. So looking forward to the banquet. But like you said, that we've got a huge junior class, got a huge sophomore class. Had a large freshman class come out, but we've got several juniors and several sophomores that have that played almost every snap, in several spots. You think of Dre, you think of Tavion, you think just go down the list. Matt, Judson Holly, Quincy Herrera, Kyle West, a lot of guys that are coming back, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to get back. There was definitely a sense of when we got back after North Oconee, those juniors, man, they were ready to go. You give their body a little bit of break, but they were ready to start working for next year. And it was, for me as a coach, like, okay, we just played 13 games. We got to give our body a break, be able to recover and recuperate and be ready to go once we get. But that sign of just wanting to get back to work is obviously a good sign, and I expect a huge off season of where we got to get to. So I'm excited about the guys coming back and our staff coming back.
I enjoyed doing the coach show all year. I get a lot of comments about the coach show. They enjoyed hearing your thoughts on the previous game and the upcoming game. But the favorite story you told was the one about Michael Shaver when he first came in and said, I want you to change. And he was, Coach, I don't care where I play. I just want to win.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about the Wayne County kids and how they've been grown up.
No doubt. I mean, that one right there, I think, was that just kind of was the mantra of our senior class. We just want to win. Just tell us what to do. Tell us what it will take. We'll buy in. And that didn't mean we didn't have our bad days and, where we butted heads and all that stuff, but every family does. A fake one is, everything's good every day and all is hunky-dory, but, realistically, you're going to have some moments. So it wasn't all good all the time, but there was trust, there was love, there was real behind this football team. And, just moments like another one is Ja, him playing running back, his sophomore year and, doing that and not playing any defense. And then, the same thing, we come in, we tell him you're not going to, run the ball as much. But you're going to be an every down outside linebacker. He turned out to be our best pass rusher, and he's first team all-region guy. Just moments like that, guys just believing and trusting, and when there's real love there, you can do things like that because a kid knows you just want the best for him, and just want him to be successful. And so we've got several stories like that throughout our team. And that played a huge reason why we were successful, because it was a, we over me mentality. Nobody's bigger than the program. Doesn't matter if you're a coach or a player, you're going to get held to a standard in it, and we've got to meet that standard, or you're going to be held accountable.
Well, Coach, we'll look forward to the banquet again. We appreciate you coming in. Like I said, just a memorable season to go from 0-9 to 10-3, go to the Elite Eight. And battled North Oconee to the last whistle. It just was a great season. Again, looking forward to next season already. Again, people are already talking about ready for the season. I'm sure the schedule will be out shortly.
Yep.
It will be pretty much there's still non-region games pretty much the same. Backley's still on the schedule. And all that.
Yep. Everything's pretty much the same. Just flipped home and away. So we're excited about it. Thank you guys for everything that you did. in our community, our fans, just the whole deal. I thought it was very special. It was a special year.
Will we pick up Pierce this year?
We won't this year because everything was a 2-year contract.
It was a 2 years, so it'll have to be the following year.
So it'll be the following year that
Okay.
we'll get back into conversations. But that's one I promise you, I want on the schedule. Just overall, just very, very thankful. I know we've talked about it, Bob, after every game, and I can't say it enough how thankful me and my staff are to be a part of this and to be a part of our community. Not just football-wise, our coaches' wives, they love the community. They love being a part of it. I know my girls love, Emory loves school, just the whole deal, the whole picture. This is a special place, and I am really glad to be a part of it and really thankful that, when you look back, like you talk about, you look back and, so many people welcome with open arms, and, I made this transition really easy for my family and I that moved 5.5 hours away. Just very thankful for the whole deal. And, I promised in that banquet when I was first hired, it was going to be a heck of a ride. And I promise you this, we're just getting started. This thing is we're just getting started. And, I'm excited. And, again, just very thankful for everybody, for the support. Everybody played a role in this. Whether it was a home game, away game, I promise you everybody played a role, and now let's take it to another level. So I'm very appreciative, and this is just the beginning. I promise you that.
Well, Coach Shaw, in the first year, you set the bar high. Look forward to getting higher.
That's right. That's right. Hey, that's why you do it. That's why if that standard's not there, then I don't know why you coach or why you play. It's about always, elevating that bar. Whatever it is, we're going, by gosh, I promise you, we're going to continue to try and raise that bar and represent Wayne County with a lot of pride, because it should. That's the way it should be.
Well, while we're talking about football, and I was going to mention this to Bob, but, it starts this morning. Bob, the Jacksonville Jaguars are now in first place in the AFC South, and the NFL requires teams that this week to put pre-sales on home game tickets. Because if the Jaguars win the South, no matter what their record is, they will host that first round of playoffs. So playoff pre-sale tickets go on sale this morning at 10 a.m. down there in Jacksonville. You can call 904-633-2000, 904-633-2000, or you can email to ticketing@jaguars.com, ticketing@jaguars.com. Just 3 weeks ago, this would have been not even a thought. And now they're a half a game in first place over Tennessee and having to go ahead and put tickets on sale for the possible first home game there in the playoffs.
So Trevor Lawrence is probably playing about as good a quarterback as anybody. I'm telling you,
number one pick.
That's what I'm saying.
No doubt.
You can see it. You can see the maturity, the growth, and just he's starting to sense it. So it takes a while to get. They talk about the big jump from going college to pro, how bigger or faster, stronger that is. But you can just tell Trevor Lawrence is coming into his own. And I said they got a good coach. Peterson's
got a good football coach who knows how to coach quarterbacks.
Right. Well,
yeah.
I mean, coaching matter. Doug Peterson's,
coaching matters. Well, Coach Shaw shows that.
That's right. Anybody does think coaching matters, they're not paying attention. I just want to thank you, Coach. Like I said, the people enjoyed the coaches show. I know. You have to take time out. They enjoyed the post game show. You come up after every game and give it. Just people. I just want to tell you how many comments we get about how much they enjoyed those shows. Awesome. You taking your time to come up there and do it. So we just appreciate your time. And again, it was an exciting ride. Looking forward to even bigger things next year, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we appreciate you being here. Hope you and your family are here for a long, long time.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. I hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and everybody gets some time to spend with some family. So just dang glad to be a part of Wayne County. Y'all have a great holiday.
All right, y'all take care. All right, Coach Shaw and Bob, y'all have a good day. All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by O'Quinn & Associates, Murphy Builder Supply, Van's Barbecue, and First Southern Bank.